Hello, West Ham Network. It is Holly, and I am here with your Hammers headlines for today, Wednesday, the 13th of September, run in association with the brilliant KUMB.com, guys. We have some good news about our squad, some injury news about our opposition on Saturday, and an update as well on the deadline to submit our Premier League squad. So, without further ado, let's jump straight in. For your first story today, I bring good news about players that have been injured and things that have scared us over the last week. Coufal was injured on international duty, forcing him out of their team as he wasn't included in the Czech Republic squad for their game against Hungary. Reports in the Czech Republic said that it was a small injury and that he remained in the Czech Republic for treatment rather than travelling to Budapest for the international game, leaving the Czech squad one man short. So this obviously frightened us because we thought it must be serious enough for them to completely leave him out, and there weren't initially many details being shared, and it's pretty rare that you see a player get injured and then be back the next week. However, it does appear that the Czech medical team have been looking after Coufal after all, as he has been seen back in training for West Ham today, which is amazing news because we need him fit for Saturday, as it would be a big miss to not have him in our squad against City with the likes of Grealish and Foden potentially on that side. The big question: if Coufal isn't fit to play or can't play the full 90, who would you replace him with, and how would this fit into the lineup you'd want to see played? Here's hoping that it isn't something that we've got to worry about, but let us know what you would do in that scenario. James Ward-Prowse also picked up an injury last week, and he's been out of training since. The great news is that he is back training with the players today. It was thought that he didn't return to training on Monday as anticipated, which was an initial concern, and then yesterday was a rest day, but he's officially back, and it looks as though it is in time to start on Saturday, with his goal and 3 assists in 4 West Ham games of the season, as well as the threat that he brings with every long ball that we basically have through long balls, set pieces. He's definitely one that we need to take advantage of against City so we can get some goals in when they expect it least. So there we have 2 very, very positive injury updates when we needed them most. Now for your Man City injury updates ahead of our clash with them on Saturday. They are in fact likely to be without 4 key players this weekend. And it's being reported that Kevin De Bruyne is definitely ruled out, while John Stones, Kovacic and Grealish are also in doubt. As we know, a win against City, while it might be relatively unlikely, would put us top of the Premier League. Guardiola does, however, have many incredibly talented players that tend to sit on his bench and just wait for an opportunity to play, even if they're not in the starting 11. So while he might have to slightly rethink, there is no doubt that we are definitely going to be facing a very strong side, and a very strong side with a certain Mr. Haaland playing up top for them. But what do you think that we need to do to have the greatest chance of coming away with points on Saturday? I know that we're not a big fan typically of playing on the counter, but do we think that this is the approach that we need to take to get something against City? It has actually worked in some of our difficult games this season. People like Brighton that we've always struggled to beat, having this potentially less exciting approach to these games has actually helped us. So City are probably going to be our hardest opposition of the season. How do you think we approach that? And finally, a bit of interesting deadline update today as the Lingard situation continues to linger on. Today is the Premier League registration day. Sorry, that was really embarrassing that I just laughed at my own little joke, which means that the deadline was at 2 p.m. today for clubs to confirm their squads. However, if you haven't actually got 25 players over the age of 21 in your squad, you can register more players at a later date, and West Ham fall into this category. So it doesn't have to be a decision that we make today, as we initially thought that we would have to make a call on whether or not we wanted Lingard, as we can register our 24-man squad, which is what we will have done, and keep the extra space open for a free agent. And it's being said that permission from the Premier League board is required to sign somebody after this deadline. However, it would be likely that this would get done because if the squad is not full, this is not normally something that they decline. So that's good news. Lingard was in training with the players today, and a lot more obviously. We've seen a lot of videos of him, obviously, like little clips where he's hiding in the corner and staying back from all the media. But today he was front and centre, laughing with all the squad and the team and properly training right in front of the cameras, which is different to what we've been seeing so far. As we know, he scored 9 goals in 16 matches for us in the 2020-21 season that we qualified for Europa League. Moyes knows him as well, back from his United days, and we know his qualities and we know what he did bring back in the day. The real question is he fit? Does he still have that? And are we desperately in need of that, as well as can we get that for a good price? Because it's now in his interest, if he wants to keep playing football, that he needs to meet us as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens. And the big question as well is, how ready would Lingard be to be the 25th man in the squad? Moyes said that he's in better condition than when he first joined the squad training, which you would hope because he's been training with a Premier League team now, and that his fitness levels are improving, which again is kind of, it goes without saying that should be happening anyway. But we have to see where we stand with this whole situation as to whether or not it's actually worth giving him a permanent deal. And at first, I wondered what more we would need to see for him. We knew that the deadline was coming. Obviously, there is now this extension where it's not desperate that we have to get it done. Well, we missed it today. However, my thought is, I was like, what do we need to see from him? We've seen how he's playing. We've played him in a friendly. He's been training with us for ages. Surely we've had the discussions in terms of wages and money and things that we would require to get that deal done. But what more do we need to see to make a decision? But then I thought about the fact that it's probably that we don't want to pay his wages until he's actually fit to play. People were saying in the pictures that perhaps he didn't look up to standard yet. But then that would mean, obviously, there wouldn't be any point in us rushing to get his signature if it means that we would have to begin paying him, but we don't think he's actually up to Premier League fitness yet and therefore would have no use for him. So could this be while we're delaying? I wonder. So those are your Hammers headlines for today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. And until next time, have a great day. Come on, you Irons.